Gemini, you've had some recent success doing the thing that you really love to do. And right now you feel like everything is possible. And it is, of course. But I want you to be aware not everything is as clear to you, and there's some difficulties lurking in the shadows. My name is Finn, and this is Magic 7 Tarot. I've done a Magic 7 Tarot spread for you already and had a chance to look at it. So we're going to go through that, and then we'll pull a few more cards and see what the month brings. This is your new moon reading. So it's time for the moon entering Gemini, March 5th to the 7th this month. And it'd be good if you have the sun in Gemini, the moon in Gemini, or rising sign Gemini, although all of those expressions would be a bit different. So let's have a look in the past to begin. In the past, we have the Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins is it's the Gemini decadent of Gemini, and it's also Sagittarius. So super positive energy. It suggests to me that in the past, you've had some success in areas that are ruled by Gemini and Sag. So teaching, writing, publishing. Maybe you finally published that manuscript, or you got a job teaching, doing something that you love doing and that you're great at doing. So you know when you're doing work that is aligned with your energies, it doesn't seem like work. It seems like fun, or uh, it certainly makes you feel really great about yourself. And that's where I find you right now. You've made some money, maybe, um, or you went on a business trip or some kind of conference. Solved a problem, had an insight about yourself. But for sure, this card to me indicates some kind of victory, either a victory over, not usually a victory over someone else, but like something that you've accomplished yourself. The phrase I came up with is, you've been doing your own thing and it's been working for you. So that's awesome. I love that. I love to see that energy. And Gemini, you're an original person with tons of like a real positive outlook, but you can also do this and you can do that and do that. So Gemini has lots of great expressions. Um, uh, Maybe you've been on a business trip. Maybe you were involved in teaching or writing or publishing something. Um, and right now, your self worth is really at an all time high. And there's nothing like doing your own thing and having success at it, because, I mean, that just, it reinforces that you were doing the right thing all the way along. And so that's how this reading starts with Gemini. Maybe you intuited something. You imagine some way of being, some expression of your energies, or I mean, you might have had a dream about something. Do you write them down? I write all my dreams down. Sometimes I only write like a sentence down because I only remember a bit, but it's a great way of connecting with the unconscious and bringing it forward. So you might have made money, but you certainly increased your self worth and you feel good about yourself right now. And this is reinforced in the present position, um, where we have Arcanum 19 reversed. This is the Brotherhood of Light Tarot. Reverse cards do not mean they're negative. It means sometimes the expression isn't fully baked, or it lags behind a little bit. So just we take it into account as in the same way. It just takes a little longer to express, or it doesn't express as fluidly. But the sun is an amazing card. It's ruled by Leo, so it's gregarious. It's the entertainment business. Maybe this is a script that you wrote, and or a treatment for a movie, and uh, now it's being considered or it's in production. It's something like that. There's a lot of business activity going on in your reading this month, and so I would expect you're doing business. Um, This also represents love and marriage. And while you know, I would say, a marriage is a business relationship in addition to being a love relationship. And a lot of the time, the thing that trips us up in relationships is the cash, right? You're spending too much. You're not making enough. I'm not saying that that's ever happened to me, but like you, I've been in relationships and there's give and take. And certainly it's about love, but it also could be about business. what I'm going to say about this card is that I would like you to, even though you're feeling maybe like you're on the top of the world, I want you to moderate how you feel right now. In other words, put a little away for a rainy day. Not that I see any rain indicated here, but sometimes the Leo energy can get in people's face. Right? I have a, my greatest friend is a Leo, and you know, uh, he has a very strong opinion about everything, even things that he has no idea about. So it's asking you to moderate your expectations, but also to align your goals. So maybe you have love goals, you have a goal about buying a house, financial goals, but then your spiritual goals or physical goals. How do you want to be? Do you want to get in better shape? Do you want to put some money away and save it? Certainly happiness. Right now, I would say that you're in a pretty happy state of mind. And if you're not feeling the full happiness, um, take a deep breath and relax because you've been working hard. So you should enjoy it. Marriage is a sacred vow. Okay. So it's important to not be tempted. Sometimes when we're on a high, we start to let other energies come in that maybe aren't as constructive. This energy definitely feels like you could do anything. And I really believe Geminis are the sign of people who could do anything. But can you do everything? Okay, you might be able to do anything, but you can't do everything. So you're going to have to align your goals. What do you want to achieve? Don't hurt yourself by being arrogant or presumptuous. Okay? It's good energy, though. I don't mean to say anything bad about it. Now, the reason I say that in the future, we have Arcanum 18, which is the moon, rules Cancer, and it's upright. But the moon is always a bit more like um, in a reading. It definitely could be that maybe being a bit arrogant here, you're going to have some enemies here. So I would watch that. I think that you control it in the present position by your outlook. Having modest aims and being humble, a little bit of humility is going to go a long way to uh, offset any people who would get jealous, okay? Jealous of you. And it's easy because, Gemini, you make it look easy, right? Right? You could do this, you could do that. Other people, they struggle just to do one thing. And you can do this and you can move around and you're versatile. So just don't rub it in anyone's face. That's what I'll say. You want to keep the harmony of this card going and not get into, being moody. Okay? Just watch your moods. But I'll say this, that your positive energy is going to be tested one way or another. Okay? If we call it a test, I think that's the best way to summarize it. You're going to be tested, and it's going to come from without, and for the most part. And it might be someone who you trust who now reveals themselves to be maybe not on your side completely. And that's a very disappointing thing. But again, the energy is in an upright position. So if you notice the picture here, we've got two pyramids, a black and a white, and two dogs, a black and a white. And so it kind of reminds me of the yin and yang, right? Within the blackness, there's a little bit of light, and within the light, there's a little bit of darkness. So it's a balance. It's balancing, right? This can go too far, right? Like my friend the Leo who knows everything about everything. Okay, don't be that person. In fact, keeping silent about your intentions or your success, at least modest, silent in maybe mixed company. Watch out for people. This is just coming to me. Watch out for anyone who tries to be a wet blanket. That's a clue for you. So who's that person who's like, well, I know your script got sold from in Hollywood, and Steven Spielberg's directing your movie and they signed you to a big thing, but you're not so good, right? So it's someone trying to diminish you. They don't want to hear it, okay? So just be careful who you're talking around and don't put it out there. It also could be your home environment, right? Not everybody has success at the same time in the household. In my household, one day I've had a great day and one of my kids comes home and they had a tough time on their test or something like that, okay? Just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Now, the thing you can control in the situation is the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords tends to represent, at the very least, some kind of negative thinking. So, Gemini, this is Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. And so you need to be in control of your thoughts. And at the very least, you can control how you approach effort. Listen, if you get signed up to write a script, they're going to want rewrites, right? If they're going to produce your movie, they're going to change part of it and it's going to freak you out, okay? And that could represent any situation. Let's say you're a salesperson and you made a big sale on a business trip and you get back to the office and you're like the man, right? Or the woman, right? You're king of the hill. You won the sales contest this month. Well, everybody's trying to figure out how to bring you down next month, okay? Don't give them an easy way to have that happen. Don't bring yourself down. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. So it's easy to sort of feel negative about those sorts of things, especially coming off such a positive situation. Excuse me. Delays, irritation, negative thinking could be some bad news, but in light of everything else that's happening, I don't see that, okay? I don't think it's bad news. I think it's a delay. Gemini doesn't like delays, right? Especially when it comes to communication. And they certainly don't like to suddenly have a bunch of extra effort, especially when they already popped open the champagne, okay? But that's what this could be. A little extra effort that you weren't expecting comes from nowhere. But you're in charge. You're in the driver's seat here, okay? This is not happening to you, okay? So stay positive. The environment. We have the youth of scepters. So this is Sagittarius, which is the opposite of Gemini. There's Sagittarius energy here, there's Gemini energy here. This is either a person or a part of yourself. So it's definitely the person, and this is the environment. The environment might want you to be self-promoting. It might want you to blow your own horn. And so it might encourage you. Maybe you're on a publicity tour, or one of the things you might be involved in is speaking at conferences for your work. Maybe you won the sales award and you have to show that off. I want you to be careful that you don't go too far with this. Okay, this is the student who drinks too much and then has a test right the next day, like a university student, not like a elementary school student. And I'm not speaking from experience here, having been to college. Okay, don't put that on me. You have to have the right mind, and you have to see the environment for what it is. And what it is positive and negative. Okay, it's both, and you have to be able to manage to ride it out. Apply some tact to the situation. Okay, you can be circumspect in how you express yourself here with this card, and don't overdo it. Okay. To the people that love you and care about you, absolutely blow your own horn, talk about how great you are. But for other people, I think you want to keep your success more private. Pardon me. The Sagittarius can be blunt, okay? They can just say, well, that's how it is. And they can say it with a smile on their face as if they expect no repercussions, okay? I just want you to be cautious about that. What opposes you is the Four of Scepters. Now, the Four of Scepters is a very positive card. It's double Leo. You can see the Leo glyph up in the corner there. This could be a promotion at work, but it certainly represents authority figures. So, is there someone, maybe the boss isn't very happy with you because you're making them look bad. You're not doing anything wrong, but sometimes doing things right and bragging about it or making a scene about it, or it can make people feel diminished. Again, humility. It keeps coming back to humility. Um, you don't want to be ruled by someone else. So that might be it, is that after you've had all of this success and you feel like you found your way, you don't want to be told what to do. I mean, whoever does, right? I don't know anyone who likes being told what to do. But especially when you're riding high, to have someone maybe be a wet blanket, but worse, kind of pull rank and say, hey, enough of that celebration. What are you doing for me now? Okay. It could also represent a promotion. Sometimes we get we get a job we don't want, and you have to decide. But I think more than anything here, it has to do with like being a victim of your own success and how that creates opposition in the environment to you. And so I just want you to be cautious about that. And the final outcome for this reading is the Ace of Scepters reversed. This represents a new job or a new activity. Business trip. Business trips indicated activity, the activity of lecturing or writing or publishing. All of those things kind of are reinforced throughout this. Being in the spotlight, the entertainment business, or at least the spotlight of some kind. Sales. Having someone clip your wings or pull rank. It's never going to feel good. It's a challenge, right? So a challenge can be something that's internally driven. I challenge myself to do this. Or you can be challenged. I challenge you to defend your point of view. I challenge you to live up to all of this hype that you've been telling us, right? Those are two different expressions of the same kind. Challenge your confidence. Because I see here, you have nothing but confidence in yourself, right? This is confidence, self-confidence. So long as you're polite about it and not expressing it in people's faces, these opposing cards or these difficult cards shouldn't have so much of an impact. You definitely have to watch your thinking. You have to watch your thinking, mind your thoughts. These are both Mercury cards, they're both reversed. Negative thinking, boastful thinking, challenging, aggressive thinking. Don't get in anyone's face, Gemini. Now, when I do a reading, what I'm doing is kind of, I'm taking it's the emotional weather report for this moment. What I'm always trying to do is suggest a better expression or a way that you can transmute or manage these energies to get the best outcome. So, right now we have these two cards in reverse position. You're thinking because maybe in the present you're overdoing it. But let's say you mitigate that energy a little bit. You keep it to yourself a little bit more. Do you meditate? If you're meditating, letting go of negative thinking, right? Replace it with a positive thought. If you're feeling aggressive, find a way to express that aggression. Go for a run, punch a bag, do some yoga, push-ups. I don't know why that came to me. Maybe I haven't worked out yet today. There's a calling here, like it's like you're listening to your voice on the inside, and then that voice starts to actualize to the outward environment, and now you got to deal with it, not in, like not something you wish to have happen or intended to have happen or worked darn hard to have happen, but now it's real. Okay, and now boom, it's real. So keep it real. Keep it real, Gemini. Keep the boasting to yourself. The one great thing about the Sagittarius energy, in the environment is Sagittarius are friendly and fun and sporty, and people like them. And the same with Gemini, right? People like Gemini, right? They have an energy that people respond to. Most people. There's nothing flighty about this, though. This is all solid. The word that came up to my mind is solid gold. Okay, you got solid gold here. Okay, and people are going to be a bit jealous of it. So, someone pulls rank on you, let it slide off your back. Whenever someone questions me or gives me feedback, I always thank them. Oh, thanks for the insight. Thank you. Right? Maybe they're not even being nice about it, but if you thank them, it kind of disarms them. Expect a bit of opposition, and instead of getting defensive about that opposition and ticked off, that was the polite way of saying that, getting ticked off, instead, keep it to yourself, right? Thank you. Thank you very much for that insight. Oh, I'll drop that in and see how that plays out. Okay? You get it, Gemini. This is a really positive reading. It's a positive reading for business. It's a positive reading for the work that you've been doing. It's a positive reading for actualizing the self. Okay? It's negative in the sense of what that actualization does in the environment. How does that come back to you? And so that's going to depend how you put it out there, right? If you're out there bragging about your success, you're going to have a little more opposition than if you're out there, hey, nothing happens in a vacuum, right? Someone taught you how to write, someone taught you how to teach, right? So honor your teachers, honor the people that set the stage. If you have a boss that, gave you the opportunity to speak at a conference, let's say, or a new sales territory, and you nailed it, I mean, that person's kind of responsible for your success as well. So, spreading around the love is a great way to diffuse opposition. Okay? I want you to be aware of this. The problem with it is that this casts a big shadow. Okay? So the more light you shine on yourself, the bigger the shadow. The more you're in the spotlight, the less you can see the darkness. This is beautiful, yin and yang. Okay, Gemini. I pulled these cards ahead of time because I have a process and I like to think about it. But I'm going to pull you a couple of other clarifying cards here. These are the archetype, wild unknown archetype deck, which I love. So I shuffle the cards 3 times and I cut them into 3 piles. I do that three times. That's my process. If a card pops out, I just think I'm not paying attention. So I put it back in. Some readers use those cards. I do not. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. Gemini, for Gemini spirit, what archetype is at play here that can help clarify this reading for them? What archetype spirit can we give to Gemini that they can drop in day to day, help them manage this situation the best for themselves, the world, and the universe? Desire to know the truth. The thread. By the way, I love this deck. The thread. Is it Ariadne's thread in the in the um, in the labyrinth with the Minotaur? That's the first thing that pops into my mind. Hanging on by a thread, but that doesn't seem to apply to you in this situation. It's more like knowing where you're going, where you've been, and even when you're in these situations where there's opposition or difficulty, holding on to that thread of the self, that part that you know is true, even if other people aren't admitting it to you or other people are diminishing it. All right, I'm going to read what it says in this book, and because I think that I find that these cards really do give some clarity. This is how I do my readings for myself. I do the Brotherhood of Light cards and traditional reading, and then I pull a couple of oracle cards. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came in this world to do. I love that. Pardon me. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we're connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Okay. Meaning within the chaos. It also has a negative implication of being bound. So I think about the boss coming down on you, right? There's one way, you could feel tied up by that, or you could go deep, right? And say, ah, okay, I'll humor this situation. I'll humor it, but that's not really who I am. Deep down, I know who I am. I'm connected to my source. And the same is true here, right? Jealousy rears its ugly head. Okay, we could get negative about that. We could feel ticked off, irritated, or we could go deep. And these cards are saying, go deep, Gemini, go deep, because there's your well, there's your source. I love that. Okay, one more card before I say goodbye today. This is an oracle card from the Sacred Destiny Oracle, and we'll ask Spirit for some inspiration. Spirit, what inspiration can we give to Gemini this month to help them navigate this situation and the best possible outcome for all those concerned, the world and the universe? I desire to know the truth. Gemini, if you like what I'm doing here, I'm brand new, not at reading tarot cards. I'm definitively not brand new, but I have a brand new channel. And so sometime over the last few months, I got inspired to start a channel and start sharing something I've been doing a long time for the world at large. If you like what I'm doing, I appreciate it if you subscribe. There'll be lots more content ahead. Like, and if something resonates with you or doesn't resonate with you, I'd love to hear. So leave a comment, please. Obviously, these are general readings, so the energy is going to be present for everyone. I might be picking up on one path through that energy, but there are lots of different expressions. The energies are somewhat universal. The expressions are infinite. I can't get them all right in one reading. I will be opening up next month private readings that people can ask me specific questions. Oh, Spirit, some inspiration for Gemini. I desire to know the truth. And you can follow the link in this video to learn more about that. What do we have for inspiration for Gemini today? Solitude. Hmm. 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 Okay. These two cards really go together to me. Right. Finding that thread, that deep thread. This is such a public card. This is such a public card. These are public cards, right? Public. Okay. This is more private. So, in the face of opposition or jealousy, you got to go inside and spend time with yourself and know how you feel. And the more you know how you feel and the more you know what you want out of a situation or your career, it really does seem to be about work for me today for you. Um, and, some relationship stuff, but less about that and more about practical matters. I'm just going to read the meaning in a spread here for solitude. Again, this is the Sacred Destiny Oracle. Spend some time alone in your life. This means to take your own counsel rather than relying on the opinions of others, right? This is very important, Gemini. Break away from the crowd, be on your own, which you already are. This card speaks of self resourcefulness, self reliance, and tenacious individuality. If you're working on a project, trust your instincts, follow your own lead. Your creativity is at its peak, let it flow. If you're in a relationship that's disempowering, this card suggests a time to step away. Take time to reassess your life. In solitude, you will thrive. This card also suggests safe haven, a sacred place for self transformation. Gemini, whatever success you're experiencing now, congratulations. You worked for it. It didn't come magically out of nowhere. You put the effort in. Be modest and humble about it, and more success is on its way. And if you need to, take time for yourself and dig deep, find your real feelings. What a successful reading. I'm excited to hear how the month turns out for you, Gemini. Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for joining me today. Peace.